Ho ho boardies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and...
I'm Vicky. Plumber pancakes, the best.
How's it going, Vicky?
Well, I've been better because... I've got to play the letter and a hater.
Vicky's now a hater. She hates the letter.
Yeah. He keeps trying to get me to play it and it's so boring.
Well,
but
let's
he
try and
said
get
any
to...
minute now it's going to get really fucking exciting. So.
Yeah.
Oh, am I allowed to F-bomb?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, well, here comes the world's most boring tale. So strap in, fellas. It's going to be a whole load of fun. We should turn the lights off so I can, slightly doze.
Well, let me read this and then I'll go turn the lights off whilst you talk about something.
I'm not talking about anything.
The mansion grounds has been one of the first things to be fixed up aside from the bedroom. So we're from the perspective of Hannah, aren't we now? Hannah. Although it's still a work in progress, it had a promising start and I can already see the flower patches. And she's going to have an affair with Marianne. Luke's favoured daffodils stand out easily, having been transplanted from the pots that used to litter the rooftops of our penthouse.
So it's February.
Is that right?
Is that when daffodils? They're a spring flower,
They are a
aren't
spring
they?
flower, yeah, so maybe. Why, if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them, they clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. I mean, he was pretty tough on them.
He's what I like to call an arsehole.
He is an arsehole.
He's a dickwad.
The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion.
It's fucking daffodils. It's not like they're like some sort of priceless bloom, is it?
No.
It's like 50p for a huge bunch of them in Tesco's.
It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration.
Hang on, she's going to have an affair with him.
It's interesting that Zach's here right now. We didn't know that, did we?
No.
Why is he here?
He's a photographer.
But why wouldn't he mention, oh, I've taken pictures of it? Or I was outside whilst you were inside? Isn't that weird?
No. This isn't the day she's bought it. This is after she's bought it now.
I think
she's moved everything in.
Oh,
and
okay.
She's got a magazine coming to give her an interview.
That's right. Cool. He's hard to miss.
God, even I know what's going on in this awful story.
Well, it means that
so
it's very
convoluted though, with all that like bullshit where they sit in a cafe for 50 minutes and nobody does anything.
That's because we talked for 50 minutes.
No, that's just so padded. The
whole cover man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger
and sexier.
It's a peculiar sight seeing someone who looks like he does handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
Miss Wright, yeah.
Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only.
Was she embarrassed? She's blushing.
Yeah.
Welcome to Maison de Right.
The oh my god mansion.
And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed, but it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few
towers over the
things
house,
here
doesn't
and
he?
there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
It's just him.
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah! Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Hannah!
Alrighty then.
Alright, Ace Ventura.
Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright.
Hannah.
Hannah.
Oh. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry, at the very least.
His touch is gentle and soft.
He is kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house.
Top down on the left-hand side, just a bit of shoulder. Yeah, that's good.
It's harmless, isn't it? A bit of shoulder.
If you feel comfortable enough, do you want to pull it down a little bit more?
Yeah.
That's it.
A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them.
So maybe Hannah isn't so evil, and she would like a nice man.
Maybe Luke is poisoning the well. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for.
Sorry if you're watching with a hater.
They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he had procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit.
Hang on,
lemons.
So he's a set stylist as well. That's an entirely different job.
Well, he's got his fingers in many pies. Trays with pepper mills. Stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards and glass canisters filled with colourful nuts and grains are brought in for the kitchen setting. For a kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels,
He's also got a
seashells,
massive
and decorative
bag, hasn't he?
soaps. Yeah. There are other things as well, too numerous to count. All in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Prop?
For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot.
Like a ghost?
Yeah,
Zachary's gonna die, right?
Maybe. I don't want Zach to die. I like Zach. We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first...
All lives matter, Gareth.
Okay. Although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore.
If I was racist, I would have been really pleased with that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you'd have liked that.
I mean, I'm pleased with it as a non-racist as well, I guess.
The ballroom needs little preparation with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first, with the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It's in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johanna's... he sounded like Johannes, didn't he? Kept
Johannes
the pace.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, kept the place
I went to school
so
with a girl
neat.
called Johanna.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What was she like?
Not English.
Oh. So, you didn't like her?
Oh, obviously, you know, me and my hatred of anything that's not English.
Considering how Johannes kept the place so neat and sterile, one can practically eat off the floor.
Can we go in that, trapdoor?
Well,
Stay away
not until
from
like
that trapdoor.
Not until we're like 20 or 30 hours in. We carry on touring the house and taking pictures where we can.
Like 70?
If I were to guess, I'd say
like at least 10 hours.
I think maybe 10.
Yeah, and fuck
little
all
less
has
than 10.
happened.
We carry on touring the house and take pictures where we can, with exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at these photos yet. Funnily enough, he's using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures.
All of this is so unnecessary.
There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes as far to talk about terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it was made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise for both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice and I find myself putting on my best smile.
Push out those boobs.
Those titties.
Oh,
But
Gareth, you're so vulgar.
But it is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder.
I mean, it's not. He's put the camera down.
His hands shake and there's a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Yeah, there's a scary ghost behind you. Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Told you he's dead.
There's nothing wrong. I just remembered something that's all.
Maybe she's gonna die?
Let's get back to the pictures.
Yeah, I hope so.
More to the left, yeah?
More so than Zachary.
Yeah. I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat.
Yeah, that's a little demon ghost woman.
Yeah, everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Ba-da-da-ba-da.
Ba-da-da-da-dum.
Nah, I just freelance mostly for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do.
Alright.
At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so, as I see his shoulders slump, and the easygoing air he has fades away.
I make films, but I'm just so bad at it.
He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries, mostly. But
he does.
Cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right?
Right.
I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Foncé very much.
Blue Foncé.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Foncé is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in.
So he says, I don't want to talk about it. And she says, well, I demand you do.
Yeah. Blue Foncé. Le hair le plus sombre de noir britannique. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with the passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he is an amazing speaker if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination in schools and in the workplace, lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of colour in general still being treated like second-class citizens. All because of the colour of their skin.
Was she completely unaware of racism?
Apparently. It is all just positively
Never
riveting.
heard of such a thing before. Why, he is
sad.
the first man of colour I've ever met.
Apart from our servants. It comes to a point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realising that what he'd just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all.
I love to hear about your passion on your own civil rights.
You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Oh.
Alright.
Uh-huh.
This is just a dating sim?
Thanks, I guess.
Yes. I want to say that I understand where he's coming from.
I mean, but you don't know, do you?
But I really don't, do I?
She has some self-awareness, at least.
I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke? And would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
No.
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around.
I mean, he's American.
Yeah.
A pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand
This
if you don't want
ghost
to
here.
talk about it.
I was a little girl all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain with nursemaids waiting on me hand and foot.
Yeah.
All the material possessions anyone could ever want. I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents. Just goodbye kisses in the morning before they knew they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure of how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant. And just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion.
Oh my god.
What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
Housing?
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, the darkest hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it.
That's nice.
Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
She's just trying to use as much French as she can.
What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for the moment. Probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So
Then you can see all the little
French.
demons behind you. The big boy.
Yeah.
You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents.
Okay.
Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry. But I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
What do you think bouillabaisse is?
I know what it is.
What is it?
It's like a French casserole, if I made it English.
Sounds rubbish.
It's delicious.
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
Say money big.
It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend.
Do you mean a good friend? He's just a photographer that turned up?
But to her, he is a good friend. She doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, we've spent 16 hours determining that.
No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. Is his name Lee?
He's my only friend. No?
Is his name Zachary Lee? Oh, maybe is Lee somebody else? And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with.
It's just a mistake. They've done that a few times, just got the names wrong.
Yeah, it seems weird. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realising.
We end up in bed.
He'll give me this strange look until I back off. And he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy, he should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there,
Sexual
and gentle
harassment.
swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel?
Yes.
Yes, you are, perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that.
Oh, no.
There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted.
Seeing as you've completely stripped now.
Could you maybe stop doing that?
Oh.
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. I think we should stop, right? I'm going to try and solidify relations as much as we can.
Yeah.
I don't want Zach to die.
Is that what happens once?
I think that if we have relationships that are less than others, they're more likely to die.
Oh, well,
that's what I would guess. So I want us to stop.
Okay, I think we should continue to sexually harass the man.
We're going to stop.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Yay.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
Oh my god.
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us.
My only sunshine. What's engraved in my ring?
Have you not noticed?
Yeah, it just says 18 carat.
Yeah. But you know what that means, don't you?
Yeah, it's really, really romantic.
Yeah. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place.
Oh, you wish it would.
It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No.
No.
No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were going to ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
What? Why would you assume that?
Not a one, ma'am.
What?
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Oh my god.
I can't help it. I really, really can't, and I'm going to apologise lots later.
To who?
To the ghosts in the house. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it is obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering. Objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
I knew she was gonna do.
No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photos.
You've never actually seen one of his photographs.
Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
She's gonna get upset thinking that he's photoshopped ghosts as revenge.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then.
And I've got a big dick.
Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame.
All right.
I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course. I'll even
post-
deliver them personally.
Okay.
Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he's heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof, Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper.
What do you mean, as you were saying? You never said that?
Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Phil?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods and the grin on his face as we say, he nods and the grin on his face as we say, oh, I see. As we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I've ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack safely secured in the basket by the front, and suitcase hooked to the back. I watch as he went down the path back to Anselm Village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle and there's the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
Oh god. You drinking poison? There at the other end of the hall is my beloved husband, with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. Didn't he say he was not going to drink or something?
Yeah, also, why is the wine green?
Special French wine.
Oh, right.
However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke,
Oh, is that absinthe? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
are you drinking absinthe?
There we go.
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke.
Stay off the absinthe.
Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad.
this morning.
Just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons.
the removal men.
Yes. And the gardener.
I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you? If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
Ooh. Tending the gardens?
Tell the truth.
I was with Zachary.
Well,
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Oh, it's not gone good. Is Luke gonna die?
let's hope so.
I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's
what does he mean
expression
he knows
turns,
as soon as the interview was over? Zachary was the interview? How would he know when Zachary had stopped asking the questions?
I don't know. He makes me feel like I'm actually to blame for something. Well, he's drunk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look.
He wants to get to fuck.
That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Luke.
I like that we both said, oh my god, together.
Having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
Oh my god, Luke.
How would he even know anything about Zachary?
I mean, I don't know.
What are you implying?
Maybe if we see it from his point of view, it'll make more sense.
I'm implying
And then
nothing.
will we start calling black people Negroes?
Yeah, well, we have the options to say that. I don't really want to click on either.
I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup. He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that.
Certainly more friendly than you, Luke.
Doesn't really take much, to be honest.
Next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
You seem like it.
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen.
I've really gone off Luke.
Please stop using that word.
It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous. Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served. Well, grander than the usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters.
Can the noises stop? I hate scraping of cutlery.
Yeah, you're not a fan of that, are you? A platter of native oysters for starters, and tranche of turbo. Is that how you'd turbot? How would you say that? That's
Turbo.
a fish, isn't it? Turbo? With purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. I mean, they eat well, don't they?
That sounded gross, though.
It did,
Anchovy
but
sauce.
it's like...
Yeah.
To finish it all off, Black tea and golden syrup
let's have some
sponge pudding
custard.
with custard. But when our appetites are appeased...
Let's eat some custard. Let's eat some custard. Yeah, we want some custard.
We'll get some custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Do you think maybe Luke has been haunted, making him drink, like The Shining or something?
No, he was already a drinker. That's why the doctor told him to stop it.
But it's preyed on his weakness.
No.
Even with its warm tone
Luke
and homely
is just
decor,
a twat.
it feels cold. I mean, that can be true. Both can be true.
No, he's just a twat.
There is no need for
he's
tears,
no
however.
victim, unless he dies, and then he can be like a murder victim, but still a giant twat.
Yeah. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I've faced before. Oops. This is a minor setback. What I hope will be a long and happy life.
I mean, you can't really think that.
To remind myself...
to fuck Zach a minute ago.
Yeah, I know. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with a renewed vigour. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already.
Who would be crying?
The wailing is far
it's only
away
you,
and muffled.
the butler, and your husband.
It's Johannes. Yet at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it.
Sounds like you.
As if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it send a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that?
Your skin doesn't prickle with... Oh, let's get in the trapdoor.
Yeah. Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen and into the wine cellar hatch. Hello?
Is anybody down there?
I am curious
Stay
and concerned.
away from that trapdoor.
But there is no way I'm going down into a dark and humid underground. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If you're not going to go down there, you should call the police. Because who knows who it could be?
I just, Oh, well, she's got household help. There you go.
If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking.
Get Johannes?
After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of these maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another.
Probably being molested by Luke.
As professional as our staff are, they are still human. And some are affected by Luke yelling at them all the time. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I am not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholly benevolent. So I will... What should we do?
Open the hatch.
I may not be going down, but there's no point in talking through closed doors. Or hatches in this case.
Stay away from there.
Hatch. The thing refuses to budge at first until there's a soft click, and it easily swings free. As I lift up the hatch and look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. Oh, this is, like when she was asleep. Do you remember? And the ghost, yeah. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. I can hear her whispering, "Help me." Calling for me. She wants me. Needs me. Marianne? She wants to drown me, pull me down, and suffocate me in her embrace until I sink to the bottom. A deep abyss waits, inviting yet foreboding. She's calling to me from in there, isn't she? And I do want to help, I do. But the shadows threaten to creep out, and a feeling of apprehension keeps me in place.
Do you think we're going to have a game come up now?
Maybe. Already it paints the room in a darker light. This is like the dream all over again.
That trapdoor is very much closed.
There is a hook in my stomach as well. But this time it doesn't pull me back. Instead, it pulls me forward. There is a lurching sensation, and the feeling that follows after is hard to explain. It feels like I'm watching myself from the sidelines.
God, they do drag this shit
A spectator to my actions or lack thereof. It's called tension. I will myself to snap out.
It was tension to begin with, but then it was like, come on.
I will myself to snap out of this detached feeling, to move, to do anything except stare at myself. And for a moment I see the look of fear in my own face. I'm back in my body, but the hook in my stomach is no longer the only one. There are hooks everywhere, tearing and pulling at my skin, flesh and bones. They pull at me in every direction and it hurts. It hurts so much, but I just can't bring myself to scream out.
Help me.
Oh, press. Oh.
Tap.
Oh. Wait.
It says press tab. Oh, I see.
I can't see what that one is.
L. I couldn't see the other one at all.
Yeah, I think it's because if you fail, it gets closer. Awake from a deep slumber. It takes a while with the fog that has settled in my head and with my heavy limbs. But soon enough I manage to look around. I'm in our bedroom already, although I do not recall going here. Luke slumbers beside me, looking peaceful and angelic. It doesn't matter.
What did you say, though, then?
Angelic.
What did you say, though?
Angelic?
It sounded like you said angelic.
Oh, maybe I did. I'm safe and I feel better than ever. Tomorrow, better days will come. October the 28th, Friday. And that's another episode of Borderline Games, Playing the Letter.
Yay, it's over.
What's going to happen next, do you think, Vicky?
Something really fucking boring and long-winded, probably.
Cool. Well, we'll see you next time
like
on Borderline
fun
Games.
Watching people, one person likes it and one person hates it, do you think?
No, not at all.
Yeah, maybe, should I pretend I like it?
Yeah, pretend you like it.
Oh, wow, I'm so excited to know what happens next.
What do you think's going to happen next, Vicky?
Oh, it could be anything. It's all so thrilling.
Cool.
Such an unusual and shocking story filled with such wonderful use of language. I really am enthralled.
Cool. Well, that's a bit much, Vicky. We will see you next time on Borderline Games.
I'm just its #1 fan. The Letter, the best game ever. Definitely buy it. It's worth every single penny. Please keep watching us play.
Please. Have a great evening.
Click like, because, it's so good.
And comment on how good this game is.
And how good I am. And how bad Gareth is.
Hey. All right. Bye-bye.
Good night. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye-bye.